What's up, guys? Stay Weird 1993 here, or of course, if you know me off YouTube, it's Stay Weird 1993 Vlogs. Welcome back. I appreciate we're starting our stream a little late tonight, so we're just going to get straight into what we're doing. So if you remember, we left things off here, exactly where we are right now, in the Pilfen village, befriending these fishy boys, the Jinyu, and doing some dungeons. So we're just going to jump right in, literally speaking, and start our quests. I hope everyone is doing okay. We are currently leveling our holy priest, so that means we're gonna hop into a dungeon and we'll do some queuing. Whether this goes horrifically or well will depend on the group, as I'm sure you're all aware by now. We've seen that we have some groups where it goes perfectly fine and other groups where it goes absolutely disastrous, but you know, that is just the nature of the beast with this thing. We've just been me and my partner have just been at a social distancing birthday party for her brother-in-law. So that's been lovely this evening. And tomorrow we've got a social distancing birthday party for my mum, who was 50 on Friday. So all of that fun to come. We're definitely getting Papa John's tomorrow, which is going to be awesome. I'm always up for a little Papa John's, or as I've taken to calling him Daddy Jonathan, and then ooh-wooing at him aggressively. We've got to collect this meat. There's not really much to say about this quest, generally. Basically got to collect some turtle meat for these weird fishy boys. Long story short on that one. What the hell? A bit of lag there, I think. That was a bit weird. Crabs. This mission is always a little frustrating. Honestly, every time I do this mission takes an obnoxiously long time.
I am out of range.
Hi there, how's it going, man? We doing good, man? You ain't missed much, we ain't just got started, so... A little late to the party tonight, given that, we had a social distancing barbecue thingy to go to, and then the kids wouldn't sleep, so... Oh, the joys of being a parent. Me, I'm good. Good. Having a couple of beers, chilling out now after we've kind of got the kids to sleep. Chloe's over there dealing with Beatrice, who won't sleep. She was asleep on me and then decided she wanted to wake up. Other than that, man, we're good. Seeing my parents because my mum turned 50 on Friday. We're seeing them tomorrow afternoon. We're going to have Papa John's in the garden, social distancing style. Because, of course, I don't want my parents to cough on me, and I don't want to cough on them either. Nobody wants to roam around here. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I mean, anything involving Papa John's is a good time. Let's be honest. Um, oh, this is getting real bitchy real quick. Let's have. So we've got to get some heirlooms. So we've got to go to that the abandoned part of the village and go and try and reclaim it. Yeah, cool. So tonight we had a barbecue for Chloe's brother-in-law. Social distancing again. It was nice to see the sort of extended family, even though it was like 2 meters apart. You know, we were all sort of distanced because we don't want to A, break the law, B, get anybody arrested, or C, potentially risk anyone such as Chloe's father who has COPD. So we did it at a social distancing level so that it was safe. That was quite nice. It was like a little barbecue style thing. We had a couple of beers, blasted some classic rock. Me and Chloe's mum's boyfriend were just debating over glam rock and heavy metal, listening to some Sabbath and stuff. It was quite nice. Um, I just miss everybody, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just miss all, like, especially like Saturday nights. Like right now, I could be at Corp. Hey, Lord Arbiter, dude, how's it going? It's like I could be in Corp, headbanging, down in some cheap ass tequila, and screaming lyrics of Enter Shikari at the DJ that he's playing right now. I'm good, dude. I'm good. Glad to have you in the stream. You guys all rock. I appreciate the fact it's late out and you guys have all come to check me out. So you know, you guys are the real MVPs coming out to check me out, even though it's gone midnight and I'm just late because we didn't stop drinking and being sensible for a while. So we've got to get some artifacts from this village. So there's some artifacts I can claim from here, but if we go into the sort of the brighter zone here, that's where both our quests marry up. So theoretically, if we kill the Hozen in this area and get some glassfin heirlooms as well as our required items, we might be able to get a lot, a majority of both of those here. 2 birds with 1 stone. Watching some Playgang Beast. It's gonna be so much fun. Oh, really? I don't know anything about it. I was telling some members of the extended family, our sort of social words, distancing barbecue, that I actually do streaming now, and a lot of them aren't aware of that. Especially Callum, who is Chloe's brother. He watches a lot of streamers, but he hasn't watched me ahead of time, which is really cool. So I've told him that if he gets chance tonight or whenever, just to come check us out. He's not with us yet because I think he's busy tonight. But there's a couple of games that it's like classic RuneScape. I'm so tempted to play RuneScape Classic. Me and my mate Jack, we've been talking about it, and we may work out a way that we can stream just us dicking about on classic RuneScape again. I've also been tempted to maybe look at streaming some classic PS1 emulator games. That's always quite fun. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing these things. These are just brain waves, if you like. Yeah, RuneScape. Well, RuneScape's what got me interested in MMOs. Funny enough, dude. It was RuneScape that got me into MMO games. It was RuneScape that started me off. Me and my buddy, when I used to go to my grandma's house after school, my buddy George, whose parents were they were Chinese nationals who came over to teach at the university in medical science. My buddy George, George Tang, his name was. He doesn't live here. He moved to Surrey. But George Tang, his name was, and his parents were such wonderful people. I remember George introduced me to, because me and George used to meet up and play Yu-Gi-Oh! And play Pokemon on our Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Colors. This is going way back. And he introduced me to RuneScape one day. And I was like, holy shit, what is an MMO? And then he also introduced me to World of Warcraft way back. He already had an account. But by the time I created my account, he'd stopped playing because his parents thought it was a waste of time because they wanted him to focus on his studying. And he much preferred the Game Boy games, which is fine. But I remember his parents, they used to live 3 doors up from my grandma. And me and him used to just meet up so often, and we'd play Pokemon, we'd play Yu-Gi-Oh! He'd show me RuneScape, he'd show me a bit of WoW. And we used to do it in his room. Like, we used to play all this in his bedroom. And I remember, because we only used to have a certain amount of time before his tea time, and then when it was tea time, I had to go home. But I remember me and him used to get super competitive on Tekken 1, or was it Tekken 2? Because he didn't like the fact I played Kazuya Mishima and he would play Taki. But I would play Kazuya Mishima and he hated that character, so I switched to Heihachi and he was even more salty about me playing Heihachi. But we used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Together. We used to hang out all the time. He's one of the people in the world that I miss. And whenever I think of RuneScape, I think of him showing me RuneScape when he came round to my parents' house, which was a rarity. But George was one of those people that I still keep in touch with him kind of vaguely now. But I always check in on him to see how he's doing, because he was probably my best friend for a lot of my childhood, especially through ages sort of 6 through to 10. I remember the day that I got introduced to George, actually, as well, thinking about it. I remember because I was playing out on the front garden, playing out on the driveways with a bunch of kids from the surrounding area. This is going back a little bit, so this is Crooks in Sheffield. And I was playing out with there was a dude called PJ, a guy called Josh, and there was a girl, and I can't remember her name. I really can't. I think it was K, as in Kaye, or K or KT. I really can't remember. It was a very long time ago. And his mum brought him out because the ice cream guy had just been and said, "This is George. Do you want to?" He he saw you guys playing on the road and wondered if you wanted to hang out with him. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, bring him along. And then me and George became like the best of friends. We were inseparable. We were the best of friends. I remember when I found out he was moving, and I remember how heartbroken I was as well, because he was my best friend. Um, but it was sorry about this, guys. Um, but it was quite sad actually. And when he moved, because I remember having to sort of come to terms with it. I have a best friend in primary school, still going on now. That's awesome. I mean, my best friend now, Jacob, I met him in like year 7, and one of my other close friends, a dude called Joel. We've known each other since year 1. George, however, was my first real best friend. RuneScape reminds me of him, so I definitely want to give that a go because it reminds me of all the good times I had with him as a friend. Like all the stuff we did and all the stupid crap we used to get up to, It really does remind me of all of that. I remember this one time, me and George went to my buddy PJ's house, and we played Army Men on PS1, and it was so funny because I didn't realize the flamethrower actually melted these toy soldiers that you played as, and I thought watching them melt. I might be a bit of a sociopath, but watching those soldiers melt was so goddamn funny. Same first name. Oh, oh, that's cool. See, my best mate Jack, his name's actually Jacob, but he goes by Jack. And he's my best friend. Honestly, I'm planning on doing a social distancing meetup with Jack on Monday. That would be really nice, just because I've missed him so much. And it's I mean, I keep in touch. I keep in touch with a lot of the people I've been close friends with. So my best mates, like throughout school, were a guy called Joel, a guy called Kieran, and a guy called Jack. I keep in touch with all of them. In and then George, I keep in touch with mainly via email. Like I'll drop him an email like, "Hey man, it's been a few years. How's things?" And I remember he spoke to me a few. He congratulated me on the birth of my first daughter, and congratulated me on becoming a stepfather as well. Um, and that was really nice because I thought he'd forgotten me. To be honest, I thought he'd forgotten me. But then that's me being depressive. I think a lot of people forget me, and they probably don't. Hey there, how's it going? How's it going, Chadalek? How's it going, dude? How's it going? So we're going to find out Rel Nightwind's story now. Hey, don't be sorry, dude. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it whenever you can check it out. No one has any obligations to me, I'm just some shit poster who likes to play World of Warcraft. Let me move, please. I hope that it's going good. So it's been a minute since I played a priest. Are you playing disc? I'm actually playing holy. I was playing disc originally, but I found it. I've never played a healer, and so I wanted to give I wanted to give something a go that I was playing disc originally, and I went to holy because it's a bit more of a cookie cutter like classic healer because I've never done healing before, never in my life. So I thought, well, if I go with holy, always easier to level. See, disc was easier to level, but when I was doing dungeons, it was really hard to heal. But I see, I've never played the role of healer. I've always been a tank or a DPS. So right now, I'm really wanting to focus on healing, and Holy Priest is actually quite enjoyable. I mean, for me at least. And the thing is, with I love the how penance works, but the problem with penance and how you have the ability to heal via S Priest. See, I've played Shadow Priest, and I don't enjoy Shadow Priest. I genuinely haven't found a lot of fun. We'll have to leave queue because we're in the scenario. We'll go back. We'll go back to queuing for another dungeon. It only took us like 2 minutes because when you're a healer, it's very easy to find an instance. I like Shadow Priest, but it's not my kind of gameplay. There's too many damage over time. It's too much managing future stuff rather than direct damage. Right, so let's get out of this. I mean, Shadow Priest lore-wise are cool, but like I love the lore behind the Shadow Priest. I think that's really cool. But I used my boost at the beginning of BFA on a Shadow Priest, and I just didn't like it. Like I was like, eh. So it's just sat there at 110, doing nothing. But it's a horde one, and I wanted a Lightforged Draenei Shadow Priest, because if you're gonna make a big lighty boy, you want to make the most lighty boy possible. And what's more lighty than a magical space goat that worships the magic wind chime? It's been so long since I've done these Pandaria scenarios. What? Jesus Christ. Do you know what? Screw it, we're entering a dungeon. Get me out of this scenario, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's Gate of the Setting Sun. The art style for Mists of Pandaria was absolutely gorgeous. Can we just talk about how gorgeous Pandaria's like art style was? Let's try and heal this without letting anybody die. Yeehaw, we got Yelma. Yelma, not Yeehaw. I'm a fucking idiot. See, I quite like Holy Priest. For healing, Holy Priest is quite good. What I like about this, rather than Disc Priest, which is healing through damage, what I like about Holy Priest is you've got a massive toolkit. And the massive toolkit is a case of you work out what the best healing is for that scenario. You want spot healing, you got flash your light. You want a spammable heal, you've got heal. You want a fairly decent heal, you got prayer. You got prayer of healing. You want something that's more versatile, you got prayer of mending. So holy priest, I started off as disc. Like, don't get me wrong, I started off as disc, and then I was told in the middle of a dungeon, funny enough, have you ever tried holy? I said, no, dude. And they were like, it will open your eyes to a whole other way of healing. Like, if you're struggling to heal because you're leveling and you're not leveling as holy. They said, but have you ever done a healer before? And I said, nah. No, I haven't. And so I learned that Holy Priest was probably more ideal for a beginner healer. Drop renews on these guys. Saboteur Kip to luck. Did we just get a drop from there? We did. We got a ring. Yeah, boy. I mean, it's not a great ring, but it's one that's better than our crappy items. And anything's better. Any upgrade's better. I'm hoping that we can just because I know how easily spammable dungeons are as a healer. If I can skip the majority of Warlords of Draenor just by running dungeons, then your boy's going to run a lot of dungeons. This one needs a heal. You need a big heal. Where are you? What the hell? What's going on here? Oh. Jesus Christ. What's going on? People are just attacking random things. Pop a renew on these guys. Jesus Christ, you're not even the tank and you're dying. You see, I understand as a healer my main job is keeping the tank alive, but one thing I do observe is how DPS get themselves in trouble, and I don't understand why or how a lot of the time. Let's see, drop a prayer of mending, I'm thinking here. Yeah, prayer of mending, because that will bounce between allies if they are receiving damage. Cool. Yeah, Holy Priest is pretty good because I think Holy Priest gives you a really good toolkit for healing, especially if you're new to it. So this is a lot more non-specific method of healing. It gives me everything I need. So your basic heal here, you heal over time here, this one here being your sort of spot healing, this being a spammable one. This one being this one here being a chain reaction style healing where you drop Prayer of Mending. Your tank takes damage, the healing bounces between other party members. It's really good. I've never played healing. In all of my years of playing WoW, I've never played healer. Not once have I played healer. So, this is really interesting for me. Jesus. We left that guy downstairs. Is anyone going to address the fact we left one of our guys downstairs? No? We're just going to pretend he's not stuck down here? Look how they massacred my boy. Is this a Darkhind Dwarf Death Knight? It is. And how's your streaming going, Lord Arbiter? Have you done any more, or are we still developing stuff? Just drop Divine Hymn. Waiting for heat to drop first. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's still goddamn warm out there, to be honest. Just floating down. You know, just hanging around. You see, I would love a thunderstorm, dude. Thunderstorms is my favourite weather. I absolutely adore thunderstorms, so I would love a thunderstorm. A comedian once famously said that I fully agree with. What's your favourite song? My favourite song? Oh, that's an excellent question, my man. I was actually having this discussion earlier. My favourite song of all time is actually Round and Round by Rat. It's Rat, Round and Round, my favourite song of all time. Um, Although my favourite song by a current band is Dance Macabre by Ghost. But my favourite song of all time is Round and Round by Rat, closely followed by Animal by Def Leppard. Um, Again, I find it very hard to distinguish, but for me, Round and Round by Rat is my favourite song of all time, hands down. But other songs that are up there are Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. There is pretty much all of Ghost's songs. There is Bible by Ghost. Oro Pro Nobis Lucifer by Behemoth. There's so many, but for me, I'd say if I had to pick one song, it's Rat Round and Round for all time. What's your favourite songs, guys? I mean, I know yours, Lord Arbiter. It's The World's Mine by Hatsune Miku. What's yours, Chadlak? What's your favourite song? This is when he busts out the Krista Berg, Lady in Red. We lost the DPS. How tragic. F's in the chat. See, I have a very wide taste in music, but this is what I mean by it's hard to pick one song for me. But if I had to, pick one, it's Round and Round by Rat. Again, closely followed by about 5 other songs, i.e. there's Broken Heart by White Lion, Tell Me by White Lion, Def Leppard's Animal, Def Leppard's Rocket, Pour Some Sugar on Me. A big fan of the glam rock era in general because I was raised on that music. That's the music my grandfather got me into, and my dad and my mum and dad were a fan of. My mum mainly was a fan of glam. My mum loved glam. I loved glam. I was a big growing up. My mum listened to a lot of sort of pop music like Duran Duran and stuff. But I know from speaking to my grandfather that she was mainly into actually like a lot of glam rock and stuff. And so she got me into bands like Aerosmith, Def Leppard, Van Halen, and stuff like that. So I learned about a lot of that from my family members. My grandpa was friends with the drummer in Motorhead, or the original drummer, a guy called the Animal. They called him. He left due to basically having alcoholism problems, and my grandpa was friends with him. So my grandpa got me into Motorhead and a band called Saxon. Terrified of loud music. Ah. Well, By the way, Chad, like having a wide taste in music, there's nothing wrong with that. I love it when people have a diverse taste in music because I do too. I can listen to Def Leppard, then be listening to Behemoth, then go to Elvis Presley, Guy Mitchell, Frank Sinatra. You know, in a matter of minutes. I absolutely adore people who I adore the idea that people are willing to just listen to whatever they feel like is good, rather than feeling like they have to, listen to what's established as socially appropriate for them as a person. I find it's very important, I think, to remember that realistically speaking, we don't have to conform to anyone's standards of music, and I think music itself is a medium of communication. So for me, it's not so much about the style of music; it's what is that music trying to say? What is the message? It sounds very generic, but for me, it's like, what's the message behind the music? What is it trying to tell me? And that's whether I like the song or not. Most of the time. That said, I enjoy the song "Party All Day" by Steel Panther, which is literally saying "fuck all night and party all day." But there you go. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either. I mean, I've never said that's a bad thing. I'm not saying I don't enjoy that, but it's one of those things where I think music is so subjective. I mean, music is so subjective, and I think that I'm intrigued by what people like and what people don't like, mainly. It's like my brother's in a quite a heavy band called it's Divine Hatred now, and a band called Revelations. My brother's the bassist for them, Divine Hatred and Revelations. Fantastic bands, amazing, very heavy. Their genre is beatdown. It's called beatdown music. So very heavy, very over the top, very much in your face. People get hurt at their gigs, kind of thing, you know. But the stuff my brother actually listens to outside of what he does is nothing like that. Most of the time, he listens to kind of chill music. He listens to Joji. He listens to a lot of rappers and stuff like that. But he plays like some really brutal, heavy music. And I respect that about him because he adores very cheesy sort of 90s pop music and stuff. But he plays some of the sickest beatdowns I've ever heard. It's like a band that I like. Well, I say a band, a group called Diantword that I like. I've seen Diantword live. You wouldn't think I'd like Diantword, but I do. So I really like a song called Pitbull Terrier by Diantword. And I think that having a diverse taste in music just makes you seem much more open to suggestion in the best way. I think having a good, diverse taste in music means that you're not going to be elitist when someone comes to you with a suggestion like, you know, you listen to this band, you want to listen to these guys. Like, I think that's such a shitty thing to do to people. Like, especially imagine like showing somebody your interest in music just for them to go, you think that's a rock? That's yeah. It's like I don't tell people what I listen to just because someone can out hipster me and complain that my music taste isn't underground enough. You know, I like a lot of mainstream glam rock music. I like Striper, White Lion, Motley Crue, Kiss, Whitesnake, Bon Jovi, Rat, Warrant, Judas Priest. You know, one thing I do like though as well is I like pop punk from the early 2000s. So I like Blink 182, Sum 41, Good Charlotte. And then like all American Rejects, My Chemical Romance. These are all bands that I enjoy, and I don't feel shame for that. And I think that there's not many bands that I feel shame for. I don't think it's. I don't think you should feel shame for liking a band, unless of course you've got an instance where you've got somebody who likes a band, i.e., Lost Prophets, where there's a convicted sex offender in the band. Then you got a prob. Then he's a little, you know, a little touch and go. Then, which is fair enough. The way I see it, that just means that it's like that. But like in terms of unless there's a direct reason, I'm very liberal with my ideas about what bands should be liked and which bands shouldn't be liked. So if you're tuning in, you are literally watching me potentially fail at being a priest, but still, I appreciate this. I need to learn my class. You see, I'm not a huge fan of Hatsune Miku, but I don't judge you for it. Like, you like what you like, man. I'm not a fan of her music myself, because it doesn't speak to me, musically at least, but that doesn't mean I think that you're wrong for liking her. My firm belief is each to their own. So I firmly believe that it's important to let people enjoy things, even if it's not your taste. The only things I will call out is if someone's a massive fan of a band with somebody who's a known, not nice person in terms of speaking to underage people, things like that. Or no, it's like I actually quite enjoy listening to the Smiths, but I think that Morrissey's kind of trashy because of his racist undertones, not necessarily in his music and his attitude towards things. It's like I remember my friend tried to get me into Hatsune Miku um, several years ago, and he was also a big fan of another Vocaloid called Kaito. I don't know who if you know who Kaito is. but Kaito was the one he tried to get me into. And it's not my thing, but he's a massive fan of Kaito. Yeah, he's a male Vocaloid, that's true. My friend was a massive fan of Kaito. Now, he's not somebody I'm a fan of. I'm just saying that I remember my friend tried to get me into Vocaloids, and the ones he introduced me to were Hatsune Miku and Kaito. Not my thing. Again, not my thing. But I respect the fact that I can see why they're enjoyable. Yeah, Kaito's a male Vocaloid, yeah. I say I don't know much about these sort of bands, but well, Vocaloids and stuff. But I say what I did know was that you're not a big fan of Kaito. Well, that's fair enough. As I say, I don't know enough about Vocaloids. I genuinely don't, just because it's not my taste in music. However, I know that my friend was big on Kaito, um, and Kaito was his favorite. He was a massive Miku fan, but also a massive Kaito fan. And I remember a couple of songs that he introduced me to of Kaito, and I thought it was cool. Yeah, well, I thought a lot of music I think is cool. I just don't like it myself. See, this is the thing. It's like personally, I don't like Vocaloids, not because I think they're bad musicians, but just because it doesn't appeal to me. It's a case of it's simply that it doesn't appeal to me. It's not because I think it's bad myself. It just doesn't personally do anything for me, musically speaking. In the same way that bands I like, i.e., Def Leppard, i.e., Kiss, Bon Jovi, Whitesnake, i.e., Black Veil Brides, they probably don't do anything for people that they might not do anything for you as somebody who likes music. You might not like them. But again, I've got so your favourites are Amiku, Len, and Rin. I've got a lot of respect for somebody who stands by their music taste, despite the fact someone might criticise them as well. So I think, so it's like I think people who the way I always see it is like if you're a fan of a band or music, right? If you're a fan of music and people criticize you or make fun of you for that, that's fine. But you don't actually have to defend that against any. You're under no obligation to actually defend yourself for enjoying music. And I firmly believe that, regardless of your taste in music, you are not under obligation to defend yourself for enjoying it. Going, oh no, well, why do I like it? Oh, because it's like, I don't care why you like the music. It's if you like the music, you like the music. It's like if someone told me they were exclusively into like, I don't know, Tibetan throat singing music, I'm like, that's really interesting. Well, auto tune songs, okay, yeah, I understand why that is, but also here's something to consider on that one. Daft Punk is all auto tune. Everything Daft Punk ever released was auto tuned music. Doesn't make it bad. Auto tune music isn't automatically bad. Auto tune music is just, if auto tune is being used to create an effect, what's wrong with that? Well, that's good, dude. I'm glad that you don't care about that because people who. There are some people in the world who get far too involved with what other people enjoy, and it ruins it for other people. What the hell? I guess they were trying to skip stuff. I don't know where we're going. They were trying to skip mobs, that's what it is. But the thing is, I'm glad that you don't care and you stand by the artists that you enjoy because regardless of what someone tells you, that's what your taste in music is, and that's fine. You could tell me your taste in music was crunkcore and I'd still stand by it, even though crunkcore is pretty awful music, objectively speaking, but you know. And you know what? Most people with a brain between their ears, man, won't care what music you like. They're not gonna judge you based on the fact that you enjoy their Miku's music, even if people say that it's not a good thing to like. I mean, what's the worst they're gonna do at the end? They say you've got a bad taste in music. So I'm gonna try and. Hmm. I suppose it's one of those things. I think music is very subjective. Hmm. We did that. Cool. We did it. I wonder what was going on up there. We're on the last boss now. Oh shit. Oh Christ. That's level 89. Okay. So we've got to get rid of something. Just gonna cut this part for YouTube and be right back.